First and foremost, I know what everyone says. Dude, calm down. It's just preseason. Bro, I get it. I get it. It's just preseason. I get it. Okay? I totally understand. It's just preseason. I know. I know the games don't count. Right? I understand that. I feel like I am fairly principled on that stance that the games don't count. Nothing that happens in the game will either help you or not help you during the regular season. Right? When it comes to record-wise, when it comes to scores. I'm not somebody who stands here and says, I need to win preseason games. I don't say that. That's not something that I do anymore. I feel like in the best way possible, I explained that last week when I talked about my opinion about the preseason. But when you have a preseason game and your players play the way that the Eagles played in that preseason game, without heart, without using their brains sometimes, the coaches weren't there for the players who were failing. Nobody seemed like they were teaching anybody anything. You know, these guys were left on an island. Sure, I get it. They were second and third stringers playing against first stringers at certain points in time. I get it. I understand. Yes, there were starters who played in that game. Yeah, they did. Miles Sanders played in that game and he was pulled out quite quickly. But for the most part on offense, we had Jalen Reagor and Devontae Smith playing in the game. Now, I'm going to get to Devontae Smith in a little bit when it comes to this rant. But it's just discerning. It's just absolutely discerning to see that it didn't even look like the coaches were putting anything forward to help the guys who were on the field. It didn't seem like they were getting any help. It didn't seem like they could do anything. They just looked absolutely demoralized. You know, the Philadelphia Eagles, they did a joint practice with the New England Patriots, and all intents and purposes, you know, reporters are tweeting, fans are tweeting, you know, we're completely owning the New England Patriots. You know, look at these one-handed catches that Jalen Reagor's making on one-on-ones. Look at all of this. This is, you know, we beat them in practice. Well, let me let you in on something. When we played them in the preseason game, in the actual game, they lit us up. They absolutely embarrassed us. We looked like cheeks out there. Absolute cheeks. Absolute cheeks. The offensive line, some of these guys who may end up coming in during the regular season because we will have starters who are injured. Every team will have starters who are injured. We've got no depth at all. The offensive line looked useless. Joe Flacco kept dropping back 10 steps even though he had a weak offensive line. This is a guy, right? This is a guy who the ball went over his head. Nate Herbig, who I hope never has to hike the ball for the rest of his career with the Philadelphia Eagles, hiked the ball over Joe Flacco's head, and instead of diving on the ball, what did Joe Flacco do? You made an elementary mistake. Dude, you're a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP. You're like 35, 36, 37 years old. I don't know how old he is. He's not 37 years old, but he's something like 34 years old. You fall on the ball. You don't try to get up. What do you think you are, Michael Vick? What do you think you are, like Lamar Jackson? You don't have any speed. You're a statue. Okay, what are you doing? And of course, it costed the Eagles the drive. The Patriots went down, kept running the ball, and scored. Now again, if it's backups against starters, which it was, sure, you know, they could do a decent job of scoring. But it looked like these players were just absolutely not prepared for the situation that they were put through. And you could say that that's a failure on the part of the coaching staff for not preparing the players to play. Okay, leaving these guys on an island. They looked frustrated. They were not playing smart. They got outmaneuvered 100% by the Patriots players. Cam Newton looked like Cam Newton from old. Mac Jones looked like Joe Montana. Brian Hoyer looked like a halfway decent quarterback. It was terrible. They had these two shifty running backs who were real small but real bulky, and they were just juking everybody out there, right? These guys were breaking our players' ankles, right? And obviously the response by this from the fans are, dude, it's just preseason, calm down. Let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you a question. So when we played the Steelers and we were dominating them in the first half and we were winning 16-7, right? We were getting real excited because Quez Watkins caught a 79-yard screen and ran it for a touchdown. And we were going crazy, acting like Quez Watkins was the greatest new player in the NFL. Was it just preseason then? Because it didn't seem like it. Now that we look like we got embarrassed, now it's just preseason. Oh, it's just preseason. It's just preseason, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just preseason. You know, we'll only have to use these players if our guys get injured, which seems to happen every year. But it's just preseason. Right? What would have happened if that was the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants? We would have laughed at them. Just like they're laughing at us right now. We were a national embarrassment. The only thing that I'm super surprised of is the fact that Giants fans still aren't complaining about the fact that Nick Sirianni essentially threw another preseason game. Right? It sucked we didn't get to see Jalen Hurts. He had a stomach bug and he went to the hospital. I hope he's okay. I'm glad he doesn't have COVID. I hope he's vaccinated. But it's just an embarrassment as it is. Because we will be seeing those players. We will be seeing those players at a certain point in time.